The Super Speedway Podcast is a Dream Bigger media production. For news, photos, show notes, and information about advertising on the podcast, visit www.thesuperspeedway.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Super Speedway.
I'll get you a clock, buddy. Nice work. Wow! Hell yeah, good! Watch him, watch him, watch him. I never thought I was gonna win. You guys are the best! Kyle Busch, you can stay in your f***ing motorhome!
Welcome to episode 132 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Wednesday, October 30th, 2019. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am not joined by James today because James can stay in his effing motorhome.
Yeah.
James, how's it going, James?
Oh man, it's great. I love that. I love that. I sent it to you right away.
You sent it to me before I watched the race, and I was good to where I didn't even know what it was about. But as soon as I heard it on the broadcast, I knew what you had sent me.
Oh, it made me so happy.
Yeah.
Kyle, I mean, we're gonna talk about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe might as well do it now.
Yeah, we can
Kyle
start.
Busch,
We can kick off with it.
Kyle Busch has been dogging that kid all season long.
Yep.
And he finally gets the win. Get your comeuppance, Kyle Busch.
Yep.
I like it.
I'm
I
sure
don't care.
he probably was mad about it, but tough. I mean, that's what happens when if you're gonna rag on the guy all season long.
Yeah.
He won a
And
race, and he's
everybody's
gonna rub it in your face.
I love that NASCAR Twitter was on Kyle Busch's side for once. Well, he's going to give that kid a ride, blah blah blah. I'm
Right.
like, well, you know,
Well,
do you really like your boss sometimes?
At this point, I'm pretty sure that. I mean, I don't know. Nothing's been made official, but I wouldn't be surprised if Todd Gilliland isn't Kyle Busch's driver next season, right? I mean,
Probably not. No, probably not.
especially based on that. I highly doubt he would have said that if he was planning on coming back next year. So.
Yeah. I don't think he's
I heard a lot of stuff on Sirius this week, and I agree with some of the comments that it is kind of disappointing that this is like the biggest moment in Todd Gilliland's career, and he goes negative with it. Like he has to think of a negative moment instead of a positive moment. It's not, I won this
Yeah.
race. It's screw you, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, bleep you, Kyle.
Yeah. But
that's
this is
know-
one of those things that we get by listening in on the radio. And
Yeah,
if everybody
that's what I was just
complains
gonna say.
about it, we
Yep.
won't get to listen in on the radio anymore. So quit complaining
Yep.
about it.
Yeah. Do you think whoever hits a home run in the World Series, you think if you had them mic'd up right at that moment, they would be super nice about it every single time?
Right.
Or would they be MFing the pitcher as they go around if it was, a hotly contested game?
Hey, I'm a hockey
The thing-
fan, and every time they mic up hockey players, that's what it sounds like.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, I love it, man. I don't see it as disrespectful to Kyle Busch or any of that stuff.
No.
Let's
Let's put it this way: it's no more disrespectful to Kyle Busch than Kyle Busch has been to Todd Gilliland.
Yeah, and if your boss is bad mouthing you every single day at work and giving you a hard time,
Yep.
don't you go home to your wife and say,
Yeah,
my MFing boss.
right.
Like,
And the
you're
thing
like,
is Kyle Busch made it public to begin with by making comments in the media,
certainly did.
and so this is all him. This is all
Yep.
him. And I haven't heard a
Yep.
word from Kyle Busch about it, like being upset about it or anything. But I'm
And
sure
if you don't
probably
like
was.
it, Kyle, tell him to hit the road.
Yeah.
Kyle can fire him if he wants.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Give him
love
a
it. I love everything about this.
Yep, and it's good for Todd. Todd's got himself a win now. He's got a little bit more proof. I mean, let's put it this way. Okay, yes, Kyle has ripped on Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland has struggled, but Todd Gilliland has had races won and then had things happen to knock him out of them. I mean,
Yep.
he had Canada won and got wrecked by his teammate in the last turn. I
Right.
mean, and he's had races won and had problems or had something break or had somebody wreck him. It's not like Gilliland is running around in the back of the field in a KBM truck. He's been there. He just hasn't gotten
Exactly.
over the hump. So,
Yeah, exactly.
but there we go.
Good stuff.
So-
Good way to start the podcast.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me start by saying this. We had the greatest truck race at Martinsville. That race was excellent. And then we followed it up with the snoozer that we got on Sunday that was made decent by the last 20 laps or so and the post-race excursions.
Scuffle?
Yeah, the scuffle. But, man, talk about a tale of two series right there. And okay, so as we start the first State of 500 discussion from Martinsville Speedway, let me say that I know the packages are different, but This just goes to show you once again, Martinsville needs to be shorter. Shorten these races up. It's 500 laps. The first
I don't care.
The
I
first
don't care so much
300
about
don't
that.
matter.
Well, yeah. but
Everybody just
the
rides along until that third stage, and then everybody starts running into each other. Whereas the truck race was abnormally short. It always is at Martinsville, and they were nuts throughout the entire race. It was a great race throughout because they didn't have time to sit and wait.
I got to push back on that just a touch.
Oh, come on!
If you're going to shorten,
I think we should shorten all the tracks. Yes.
Yeah, but it's not. This is the length of the race at Martinsville isn't really the problem. It's the damn spoiler.
Yeah.
And the stupid rules package that these teams. I'm not gonna be hashtag blame NASCAR on this.
No, it's the teams. Yeah.
Yeah, the teams refuse to change the rules package for Martinsville, and it's led to two. This is the worst season of Martinsville racing that there's ever been.
I agree.
Spring race was terrible, and this was terrible.
I still stand by that if the race was shorter, it would be better with this package, but it's still going to suck with this package.
You can't pass the leader.
Right,
you still
exactly.
Can't pass the leader. That doesn't. The middle of the pack racing is decent, but you can't if you can't pass the leader at a short track, then I mean, we've got this rules package and it's quote unquote improved intermediate track racing, but man, what it's done to our short tracks is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Richmond's terrible, Martinsville's terrible, Bristol, eh.
Well, the thing is, though, Richmond hasn't been great for several years.
Well, yeah.
But Martinsville's been spectacular. And Martinsville is garbage. So 6 laps were not led by a JGR car on Sunday.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was due to pit stops. It wasn't because he passed them. There were 3 lead changes in the race.
Kyle Larson got the benefit of some pit cycle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr. led 464. Sorry, I'm wearing glasses tonight. James knows the story, and so I'm having trouble reading the small text. Yeah. 464 laps of 500 laps at Martinsville. That's ridiculous.
Between Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski, over 900 laps out of 1,000 at Martinsville were led by 2 different drivers this year.
Right.
Think about that one.
I said last week that this package, the current package, is better all around than the old package, but we don't need any races like this, especially at a track that used to be one of the best.
We got a glaring issue here, yeah.
Yeah, NASCAR needs to fix this for next season, and sounds like the talk is going to be working on the tires, which the tires will help because we had a tire test at Martinsville and then brought the same tire back that we used in the spring.
And the left side tires were not wearing out at all.
Right.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So, but
and these teams, you know, I want to see some. We need to see some body style changes for some of the stuff too. Spoilers, what have you. We used to run. Remember when we had the Twisted Sister?
Yep.
And we had the Super Speedway bumper, and then everywhere else bumper.
Yep.
We need to see. We got to do something here.
Teams don't want it, man. They got these charter agreements.
Stupid.
It's another example of why the charters suck.
If you're gonna, I mean, we are hurting the. This is the best product NASCAR gives us. Martinsville, Bristol, short track racing is the best product that we get in NASCAR, and we are sacrificing the best product so that we can improve the worst product, which is the intermediate tracks.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Well, other than the fact
backwards.
that there's
It's backwards.
Other than the fact that there's way more intermediate tracks than short tracks, so who cares about the short tracks, right?
But that's yeah, but it's still backwards, right? I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's backwards. We need to improve. We need to have the best possible racing on our short tracks.
Yep.
I don't care what they at this point in my life. I don't care what they do at these intermediate tracks. This package is fine. Keep running it, but don't ruin my super speedway racing and my road course racing and my short track racing. Those are the races I look forward to the most every year.
Yep.
Don't like it.
I agree.
I get mad about it. I'm mad about it, and I watched that race on Sunday, and it was frustrating.
So Jeff Gluck's was it a good race poll? 56% said yes.
Terrible.
Lowest Martinsville race since they started the poll.
It's embarrassing.
Pretty terrible.
That's terrible.
So yeah.
But however, after the race, that was fun.
After the race, so I used that clip of Todd Gilliland in the intro, but could very well have used the best sound clip from the weekend. which came after Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano got into it after the race. Hamlin was interviewed and had this wonderful impression of Joey Logano that is now permanently on the soundboard here for the Super Speedway podcast.
Short track racing.
Gotta love it.
That's great.
We were talking beforehand. Denny has pulled that out a few times. That was not the first time he threw that impression out.
That's been used at dinner parties.
Yes.
For many years at this point. Probably when they were still teammates back in Joey's 20 days.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so funny. I laughed. And,
so did the whole place. The whole place went wild.
Oh, I know. I love it.
And I like Joey Logano, but God, it was good.
Joey, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Joey. Here's where I line up, and we may disagree on this. I don't know. But Joey Logano, if you're gonna put your hands on somebody, be a man about it and stay there.
Yeah.
And fight him. Don't push and run. I don't like that, and that's what started the whole. And that's, I mean, that
was kind of a scared move that he did there, because it wasn't like a good job, Pat. But it wasn't like a push thing. It was kind of like he was nervous to do it, and he's got to get it in there before he gets out of there. And
don't touch him at all.
Yeah.
Just walk away.
Exactly.
Because if he doesn't touch him at all, we don't have a fight.
Yeah, nothing happens. Well, we didn't really have a fight anyway, but.
Well, yeah, it was a kerfuffle, I guess.
Yeah.
A brouhaha of sorts, right?
It was exciting, though. It's what we want to see.
But I think the big thing here, Eric, that we can both agree on is NASCAR actually did the right thing. Suspending the crewman for Logano.
Yep. Yeah, Mule gets suspended.
Yep. Yeah, I love the name Mule.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And, the interesting thing is they were talking on Sirius, or it might have been one of the podcasts I listened to this week. This is not the first time that Mule has been involved in one of these altercations. Well,
if he's been with Penske for a while, he's probably been in a couple of Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, I believe he was involved in the Brad Keselowski one at one point as well.
Joey seems to find his way into some fights. So
yeah,
everybody wants to fight Joey.
I wonder why.
He's kind of like the wimpiest guy out there too.
He really, no offense to Joey, because again, I like Joey. And he's a good guy, and I've gotten a chance to interact with him, and he's fun, but he's kind of got a punchable face. I mean, he's got that grin, and he just seems like an entitled kid.
He's got that voice.
Yeah, I could see it. If you're irritated with him, you want to take a swing at him.
Yeah, I like it.
As do I. So yeah, as you said, James, the crew member gets suspended for basically taking Hamlin down.
Yeah, whipping, kind of like a wrestling type of, grabbed him from behind and pulled him down.
Yeah.
That was pretty ugly. NASCAR, we were texting about this earlier this week. NASCAR really screwed the pooch on the Xfinity Series.
Yeah.
Cole Custer fight the week before.
Yeah, they set the precedent for this.
Yeah, and these crewmen cannot put their hands on these drivers. So hold them back is one thing. Like holding your driver back.
Yep.
Is one thing. Don't put your hands on the other guy.
Here's the thing, though.
Can't do it.
This doesn't change anything.
No,
next week this happens. Same thing happens again.
Yeah, one race suspension doesn't do anything.
No,
for these guys. Yeah, they'll be fine.
Well, and it's the heat of the moment. You're not thinking about a suspension when you're making a move like this.
No, but that was kind of a.
It was rough.
Well,
it was somebody who's got like 6 times the strength of Denny Hamlin pulling him to the ground. I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. You got these are big crew members now. This isn't
they're college football players, man.
Yeah, these are tough dudes. I mean, they're carrying 70-pound tires around and stuff like that. I mean, the stuff that they use at the pit stops are not light.
These drivers weigh a buck 75 max,
right?
For most $180,
right?
Denny Hamlin's probably in the 175 range, 170.
Well, probably 10-15 pounds lighter at the end of the race too, right?
Oh yeah,
especially Martinsville. It was hot this weekend.
I'll tell you what, he's lucky Denny didn't get hurt in that whole thing. If Denny gets hurt and you ruin his championship chances,
yeah, we can laugh about it all we want, but that could have been really bad. I mean, Denny really got taken down, and
yeah, there's the blindside version of this where it's not cool.
Yep.
You just don't come at somebody on the blindside, and Denny wasn't expecting to be whipped down. He just wanted to whoop Joey Logano. He was coming at him, and it's nice. It's convenient for Joey. I'm not saying this to take a dig at Joey, but it's convenient for Joey to have his crew member there just kind of save the day in that
Right.
instance.
Right.
Just the way it worked out, you know.
Joey didn't take that little jab at Hamlin
That's
if
what I'm
his crew
saying.
wasn't around.
Yeah, I
He
know.
knew he was safe.
Yeah, his team was all right there.
Yeah. Although they
Did you
did
see
try to
the-
get into it a second time.
Did you see the video of Brad Keselowski circulating where he's being
Oh,
interviewed?
yes.
And he looked over and all he said was glad. What did he say? Glad it ain't me.
You know, he just said, it's not me.
Not me.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I guess that's one benefit of not making it to the round of 8.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to get involved in that stuff.
Yep. The other altercation we saw wasn't off the track, but it was on the track. Kyle Busch, Eric Almirola. Had a couple run-ins during the race. Almirola says after the race that he's got 3 weeks to pay Kyle back, basically.
Boy.
Just what Kyle needs is an enemy.
Yeah, I don't understand what Kyle's doing.
I don't know.
He's really he has completely imploded in these playoffs, and to me he doesn't deserve a spot in the Final Four.
So we were they were talking on Moody's show this week. I listened to a lot of NASCAR this week. You know, when you have a race like this where there's some controversy at the
you're
end.
driving a lot too now. So
Yeah, but I don't usually listen to as much NASCAR during the week. But when there's controversy like this, it's fun to tune into and hear what they have to say. Moody on his show, and I can't remember if it was Moody that made a point or one of the callers, but so Kyle, let's think back to Kyle's career. How many times has he imploded in the playoffs?
It's kind of
the one time he won was the time he didn't have any pressure because nobody expected him to do it, and that was when he sat out the first half of the season or first part of the season.
Yeah,
that he can't handle the pressure, man.
I don't understand. He's been such a crab this season.
Well, there are rumors that there's off the track stuff going on. We won't get heavy into it very much, but we do know that that him and Samantha have been trying to have another baby. I don't know if that's it, and again, we won't get into anything, but there are rumors that there's stuff. So maybe there's something that we don't know about. That could very well be the case, but
who knows?
Man, he just
Kyle
Busch is imploding personally, like Chase Elliott's car is.
Well, yeah, yeah. He's been so bad in this play. We went through it last week, but for him to get into something like this is the reverse Denny Hamlin. So we talked last week about Denny Hamlin letting Jimmy Johnson go, right? Making a friend out there when he might need it at Homestead. This is the reverse of that. Kyle Busch has nothing. Him and Eric Almirola have nothing in common in this sport other than the fact that they drive race cars. He could use somebody like Eric Almirola on his side, perhaps, at Homestead, and just completely threw that out the window.
Yep.
Because Eric Almirola's got speed, and I saw people making fun of Eric Almirola saying, "Ha, don't worry about seeing Kyle again. You ain't gonna race around him anyway." Well, in these playoffs, yeah, you are. You're racing around Kyle every week because he's a 10th to 15th place car.
Well, not only that, but let's say Kyle's leading and Almirola's in the back. He's still got to pass him to lap him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and
you're going to see him.
Even more so in that instance, will Almirola be dangerous because he's got less to lose.
You're going to be seeing him at ISM Speedway.
Yeah.
That's a pretty small, tight, compact track.
Yep.
And Kyle Busch has been, I know he has a history of implosion, but since 2015, he has been so stout in the playoffs. I mean, he's made the Final Four every year, but made it to Homestead to win a championship. Last year didn't work out in his favor, but was definitely the best car all year, arguably. But boy, this is a different. We haven't seen it quite like this from him. This is like he's regressed to, his youth in some sense. I don't know. I mean, you're a Kyle Busch fan, but you can't be happy with what you're seeing from the fans' perspective, right? I mean, this is.
Yeah, I mean, even though Kyle has the championship, I just don't ever go into expecting him really to be a serious contender. I mean, on the track, yeah, but he always seems to have this stuff happen. And we're going to Texas this weekend, which has been the track he's imploded at multiple times. So let's see what happens this weekend.
Yeah. And he still has a little bit of a cushion, but he has wasted away his regular season championship in every round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's lucky he's had it to this point.
Yeah.
But
I mentioned Chase Elliott. I don't think there's a driver that's performing better than Chase Elliott with worse equipment right now. What
With
the
such
heck?
shaky equipment. Yeah.
What the heck is going on with Hendrick, man? If they could just keep the car underneath him, he'd probably
I wonder
be.
if they're pressing a little bit,
I
pressing
don't
a little too
know.
much. It's like an athlete who's it's not really Chase's issue, it's his team, but
Well, that's the thing. I don't feel like it's Chase's issue. I mean, he blew a motor in qualifying or practice or whatever. He
yep.
breaks an axle during the race. He had the problems at Dover. I don't know, man.
He's had a good playoff run. I mean,
He
obviously
has. That's the thing is like he's 44 out right now. He's 8th, but
he's got to win. It's win or go home for him.
Yeah,
so he's got to
definitely.
win, and he could win Texas. I don't see why he couldn't, but
he's got a good average finish at Texas.
yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bummer for him, but
If Chase Elliott doesn't make it to the Final Four, I think it's a disappointment. I think right
it's on
now
his team. Yeah, it's on his team.
I think right now he's in the top 4. He's got.
We don't see mechanical failures in NASCAR very often.
No.
And not anymore. And this is just an outlier. This is kind of what used to happen back in the day. Somebody would be in the hunt for a championship run, and they'd have a couple of races.
Yeah, even this though, man, this many times.
Weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Twice in the same weekend.
I wonder if they found something that's giving them more speed, but it's kind of on that ragged edge of out of control. And
I'd probably say
yeah
if it was the same thing happening every week, but it's not.
They're definitely pressing though. This is not fluke. You don't have this. This doesn't happen to you this many times as a fluke.
You wouldn't think so, no.
Not in 2019. Not in 2019.
Right.
10 years ago, yeah, you could have fluky mechanical failures, but not like this.
So, question for you. Last week we said that Denny Hamlin's the favorite to win the championship. This week, Martin Truex comes out and dominates Martinsville. He's got a couple, good tracks coming up. Who's our favorite at this point?
I still like Denny.
I agree.
I still like Denny, but this has been Martin Truex Jr.'s playoffs. He's been the best. That's been the best team.
Denny gets into the Final Four, right? I mean,
yeah, Denny's in. Yeah, Denny's in. He'll be fine. He's got the cushion. He's definitely performed as good as anybody. I still like him. I still like him over anybody else.
I agree.
But Martin Truex Jr., we haven't even hardly talked about the dude.
Yeah.
He's definitely the championship favorite.
Well, this is the first time he actually has locked himself into the Final Four. He's always gotten in on points. This is the first time he got in with a win.
Yep. Yeah.
So is he more dangerous this year than ever?
Yeah, he's what that 19 team has done, picking up the pieces from the 78 and just becoming just as good. They haven't missed a beat from last year. They're better than last year.
Agreed.
And nearly as good as what they were in the championship season in 2017. So yeah, this is a really good team. That 19 team's never had a better shot to win a title since Carl Edwards was leading, diving into turn 1 and wrecking Joey and that whole mess. But this is another good shot for him. He can rack up a second championship here. I still like Hamlin more, but Truex he's 1B. If Hamlin's 1A, Truex is 1B for me.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Truex has had a heck of a season. It's kind of crazy because so many drivers have had good seasons this year that it's hard to pick one that's like, the favorite here. I mean, we look at wins this season. Truex has won the most. He's won 7 times. Hamlin's won 5. Shoot, Kyle Busch has won 4, and we're sitting here talking about how bad of a season he's had.
Well, he's had Kyle Busch has had a bad stretch. His season overall, he still has a better average finish than Truex on the season, but he's trending the wrong way.
Yeah.
Truex is trending in the right direction. It's kind of like a hot team in the baseball playoffs making a run to the World Series, for example, or hockey when the 8th seed kind of sneaks by. Truex is better than an 8th seed, but he's definitely if Kyle Busch was the 1 seed going in, Truex has snuck past him at this point.
Right.
I like their chances, man. I like Cole Pern. I like that team. They have got another 20+ top 10 season, 7 wins. It's God, it's been good. The class of the sport since 2017.
Right. Let's talk about the rest of the field. Jimmy Johnson finishes dead last, 38th. Got involved in the accident with Kyle Busch and Eric Almirola. We mentioned Eric Almirola, 37th, Chase Elliott, 36th, Clint Boyer, 35th. Boyer's team cannot get out of their own way, decides to change the tire that goes flat on pit road and changes the wrong tire.
Yeah, that was
Just
crazy.
a comedy of errors, that team, I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
that was crazy. On the good side, I really want to shout out William Byron.
Yeah.
That team is building momentum, looking strong. I wouldn't be surprised if they won a race before the year's over, or we're serious contenders going into next year. That
Yeah.
team looks really good. This Chad Knaus has put together a pretty nice little team here. They are, man, he's just been really strong. He's just been really good. They probably could have won Talladega, gotten a wreck late. But outside of that, he's had a pretty nice stretch.
Got to get, I mean, not to take anything away from William Byron, but got to give a lot of the credit there to Chad, right? I mean, this is Chad curating this.
Yeah, he's putting fast race cars on the track. He's got 5 poles. Consistently, they've run. Chad had him running for points most of the season. You know,
Right.
trying to rack up some stage points and things of that nature. But yeah, Chad is and credit to William Byron. What Chad tells him to do, it seems to be that William Byron can execute it now.
Yeah, even if it's wreck his own car.
He's really starting to show us that real flash of talent that we saw coming into this season, or coming into his Cup career, I should say.
Yeah.
The championships that he's got at the lower levels and things like that. He's that driver. He's gonna be a problem next year. He's gonna win some races.
I agree. Brad Keselowski bounces back after missing the playoffs to finish 3rd.
Yep.
Let's talk about David Reagan finishes 11th, almost gets himself a top 10 finish. Chris Buescher 12th. Bubba Wallace finished 13th.
Yeah, I had him on my one of my fantasy teams. I was pretty happy about that finish.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace did pretty well. Had a good day. That's pretty much. Ryan Newman finishes 10th. He was a problem for Kyle Busch during the race. He was always a problem for anybody. So
yeah, he was not having any of Kyle Busch's stuff either.
He's driving a school bus, man. You can't pass a school bus.
Old no neck. You can't get around him.
If there was a better car for Ryan Newman to be driving than one painted like a school bus.
Yeah, that's him. That's him in a nutshell.
So let's look at the championship points. Right now, your top 4 in. Martin Truex Jr. is locked into the final 4. We don't have to worry about him anymore. Denny Hamlin's plus 24. Kyle Busch plus 17. Joey Logano plus 14. Those guys are in at the moment. Kevin Harvick hanging out 14 out, which is a surprise, but not with the way his season's been going.
Yeah, he's kind of fringe.
Yeah.
Fringe good. Yeah.
Ryan Blaney 15 out. I think that's actually a surprise for Blaney. I mean,
well, he got that 5th place finish, so that's a good day for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been trending in the right direction. I honestly would be less surprised to see Blaney make the final 4 than Harvick right now.
He scored the second most points at Richmond, or excuse me, Cheese Pete's. His sponsor is Richmond. Menards / Richmond, but at Martinsville he scored 48.
Well, on a track that I don't think he's been historically good at, right?
I don't think so. I can look that up really quick though if you filibuster for me.
Well, I believe Kyle Larson also has not been good at Martinsville. He did decent on the day. Ran toward the front and finished 9th. Larson's 24 points out. Chase Elliott, as we mentioned, 44 points out. Doesn't necessarily need a win, but needs a lot of stuff to go right for him to not need a win to get in.
These guys got to win. I think Larson's.
Chase has got a good track coming up next weekend and a great track coming up the weekend after. So
he'll be good at Texas. I think he'll be good there.
He could be good at ISM too. So
yeah.
Did I filibuster enough? Did you find it?
No, I can't find it. I'm trying to get to it. I can't.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I'm bumbling around, and then my computer zoomed in on me, and now I'm all.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I
got it.
I kind of feel like we might have our final 4 right now, but I've said that every round.
I'm not counting out Harvick yet. I still won't. I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't count him out just yet. He's. I don't know, man. I just feel like he's going to be good at. I think he might win Texas. I feel like he could win Texas.
Okay.
Ryan Blaney's got an average finish of 12.9 at Martinsville, so
Okay.
not
bad.
terrible, but
No.
he's one of the higher ones up there. But probably doing much better recently than he has his whole over the stretch of his career.
Right.
There you go.
Okay. Anything else about Martinsville we need to talk about?
You know, we talked about for a race that really was a stinker. We talked about it longer than I thought we would.
Yeah, I mean,
But we had a lot of stuff going on.
Again, the last 20, 30
Everything's on
laps
the
were
line
decent.
Right.
You know, and Byron tried to make a run of Truex at the end, just wasn't able to quite get there. And I'd like to see him get to the bumper and see what he would have done. But
Yeah.
first win, take out the one of the championship favorites. That'd been pretty fun.
And that's the problem with the dang way the cars are set up. He probably didn't even have a chance, which
No.
sucks.
No, and that's the thing is they're so sealed to the ground, and this is just ridiculous. You know, we hate talking about aero, and now we're talking about aero on short tracks. It's just
Martinsville. I know.
stupid.
We did. I feel like if we went back and listened to our spring race Martinsville podcast, we probably would have said a lot of the same stuff.
Yep.
Which
So
sucks.
I think this proves that it's a problem. Hopefully NASCAR fixes it somehow next year.
Ease.
All right, let's talk about the news. Speaking of the crappy package, James, you put the story on here from Auto Week about how the rules package has ruined short tracks. You
Yeah,
wanna take that?
our buddy Matt Weaver, he's really good at this stuff. It's more of an opinion piece. We've hashed it out, I feel like, enough on the podcast, but just kind of talks about everything we were really talking about. But we'll have the link in the show notes if anybody wants to read it. But my favorite line of this is not a series of ass kickings that we're seeing,
Right.
which Matt Weaver calls what we're seeing now a technical glitch, and I agreed with everything he said. I thought it's a really well done piece. Don't know if you had a chance to read it or not, Eric, but if you don't, please go back and do so. It's good.
I did not yet. I will say that I don't always agree with Matt Weaver, but I do always appreciate the amount of work
Works hard, yeah.
and thought that he puts behind stuff. He doesn't just throw things out. He's got information to back him up. So
He's got a great statistic on here. I'll steal a little bit of what he's got.
okay.
He says if the visuals aren't doing it for you, statistics will. And he puts green flag on track passes for the lead in 2019 at the following tracks: Martinsville 2. This is for 2019 total, so all races. Dover 1, Sonoma 0, Watkins Glen 0, and then we go back to Dover. Dover 2, Martinsville 1. That's it.
That's rough.
On green flag on track passes. So this is not just a short track problem. He goes into a little bit of detail on how it's kind of affecting some of our other tracks as well. So good piece. I suggest people read it.
There you go. The next one, James had me kind of excited. He texted me during the week, something along the lines of "Smoke is back."
Just smoke back. That's all I put.
Yeah, smoke back. And I'm like, oh, Tony's gonna race. Well, not quite. Go ahead, James.
Is this a do we care?
Yeah, sure. I don't care.
So Tony's gonna take his F1 guys around COTA with a 2-seater number 14 Mustang. He's back in a cup car. That's it.
Let's talk about Reddit really quick, where there was some gold. One of the things people commented on the fact that the car that he's going to be driving looks so much better than the Haas car that it runs in the Cup Series.
Yeah, it's his 2016 Haas scheme, actually.
It looks a lot better. Couple things in the comments, though, that I thought were pretty good. One of them says, going to be a real shame when that car has to retire after a few laps and finishes P18 on the grid, in reference to the terrible season that the Haas drivers are having. And then in Formula One, by the way, not in the Cup Series. And then also, why is a sprint car driver taking Formula One drivers around a road course in a stock car?
It's fantastic. I love that one so much. Yeah, I love that one so much. That's really good.
The only reason I kind of care about this is it's a demo of a Cup car at
COTA.
Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
It's going to be kind of a cool thing. Why is this happening?
Because NASCAR's in Texas the same week.
There's a reason for it, man. There's a
NASCAR's
reason
in Texas. Yeah, but I don't think there is because, well, I mean, yeah.
There was an Indy car at the Roval.
I know.
That's
I know.
all I'm saying.
And I mean that, but I don't think Circuit of the Americas is a good track for Cup.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, we won't because we're not going to see any passing or anything.
What do
like
you
that,
think?
but-
So Tony Stewart and Eddie Gossage are good friends, right? They've got a little bit of a history together. Tony does the smoke show every
Yep.
year at Texas. Loves Gossage. What do you think the well-spoken Eddie Gossage has to say about Tony Stewart going over to his nemesis at Circuit of the Americas and driving a car?
He can't be real thrilled about it, and that's my argument. Is I don't think as long as Texas Motor Speedway exists that we get a Cup race at Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, Eddie Gossage despises. I don't think he hates Circuit of the Americas as much as he hates F1 for being there the same weekend that he has his Cup race.
I think the only way that we see a Cup race at Circuit of the Americas is if NASCAR buys SMI. That's it.
Right. Yep.
Only way it happens.
Yeah, I think there's some interest though. There could be some interest. I just don't think that this would happen if there wasn't some sort of
I agree with you. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it too. Is we just ran Indy cars at the Roval, and
I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
I like mixing things up.
I mean, stuff like this is what, even if it wasn't the thought, stuff like this is what gets these things rolling.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Matt Tifft will be out for the rest of 2019.
Yeah.
John Hunter Nemechek taking over that car. I didn't click on the article here, James, but I'm on Jeff Gluck's Twitter because I was looking at the race poll. And Jeff Gluck tweets, Matt Tifft says he suffered a seizure, but scans showed his brain tumor is not returned.
Yeah, they're not sure what happened to him. That's why he's got to sit out the rest of the year. You can't have a guy out there have a seizure while he's on the track.
Yeah.
So there are safety concerns from Matt. Health, mostly health concerns, but definitely some safety concerns. He's got a hell of a story, Matt Tifft, already.
Yeah.
The fact that he's even out there in the Cup Series is nothing short of a miracle.
Yep.
A good dude, good driver. Drives for a back of the pack team, but he's making it. He's making a living out of it. And now we get to see John Hunter Nemechek, I guess, on the bright side. John Hunter gets to make his Cup Series debut, so kind of a cool thing for him. Probably wishes it was under better circumstances.
Right. Take the next one, James.
Yeah, I figured the notes would get changed, but I left it. You left it as is.
I left it as is.
The crew chief killer strikes again. Austin Dillon. Another one bites the dust. I saw what was the? I think it was Bromberg, of course, right?
Of course.
That Austin Dillon goes through crew chiefs faster than Donald Trump goes through, what was it, Secretary of State or whatever. I can't remember how it went, but anyway, it made me laugh. Yeah, so Danny Stockman, who won championships with Austin Dillon in the Xfinity and the Truck Series. He's out, and coming back to the number 3 is Justin Alexander. So Justin Alexander was the crew chief when the team won the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600. So I don't know if I guess they're sacrificing the guy who won championships with Austin for the guy who won 2 races. I don't know what that does. But
yeah, I'm trying to pull up a couple things here. So
yeah, first off, how come Austin Dillon? I guess maybe I'm just speaking out loud here. How come Austin Dillon can't stick with the crew chief for more than a season and a half? I don't understand. Like, is he that good of a driver that he can? I'm starting
I can tell you why.
My feelings on Austin Dillon are starting to change.
Grandpa owns the team, man.
Well, yeah, pop. I liked Austin Dillon coming up, but what he's done in the Cup Series over the last couple of years has got me kind of scratching my head a little bit. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel about old Austin Dillon?
I think Austin Dillon is lucky that his grandpa owns the team.
Yeah. He's a good driver, though. He is.
So I made a comparison on text message with James this past week, and James argued against me, but I compared Austin Dillon to Kyle Petty.
It's pretty, yeah. Kyle Petty had a better stretch than Austin Dillon's ever had.
Yeah, yes. I mean, Kyle won 8 races over 829.
40 years.
Yeah, 30-year career. But we're 9 years into Austin's. He's got 2. Now, James mentioned that those 2 races have both been significant races.
Yeah.
And said that in his mind, those count for 5 races each. And I said, well, if that's the case, then so does the Brickyard, which means Paul Menard has 5 wins.
Yeah, and then we had
So I don't know, man. It's a good thing that his grandpa owns the team. I don't like to say anything bad about Richard Childress. He gave me a heck of a ride in the pace car at Michigan. I like Childress, but he would do himself some good to have someone else in the car. But we're gonna see.
I see.
Maybe not. Maybe it's the cars too. Maybe Dillon's better than the cars.
I got to push back a little bit because he is a championship driver, and we give Ricky Stenhouse a lot of crap, because he's regressed a little bit, and maybe
both of these guys won championships when the Cup drivers weren't getting points, didn't they? Were Cup drivers getting points when Dylan won his championships? I can't
I
remember.
don't think so. Dylan won the Xfinity title without winning a race. I do know
Right.
that. Neither here nor there. He's still a champion. Yeah, but right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you
not
make
take anything away from the championships, but
yeah, you make a
championship
good
drivers
point
have come
there
to the
that
Cup Series and not done anything too.
I don't worry too much about the Cup drivers down there as much as I used to. I don't know. They weren't really competing for championships really anyway. The Austin's got to go out there and beat Xfinity drivers if he wants to win the Xfinity title. So, but yeah, man, I don't know. I still think Austin Dillon could get it done. I just this team, there's a lot more issues with RCR than just Austin Dillon.
I agree, but I don't know. I like Austin. He's a good kid. But
I mean, who would you replace Austin Dillon with then if you're
let me just say this. If Austin Dillon wasn't Richard Childress's grandson, would he still be in the car? At this point in his career, would he still be in that car?
I think if you look at the Ricky Stenhouse as the example, if that's
but
gonna
that's
be our
Roush.
comp.
That's Roush. Let's look at Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick lasted a season.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's do the comps. So if Stenhouse is one of his comps,
Right.
Stenhouse doesn't drive for his grandpa, and he got a pretty long leash until this year before he finally got the boot.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got no ties to Roush other than he drove the cars for him.
I don't think Dillon's still in that car if he's not Childress's grandson.
I don't know, man. That Daytona 500 gives him a little bit of leeway, but then again, Trevor Bayne won a Daytona 500,
Yep.
so and he
Where's he?
got the boot. Well,
what's Bayne up to?
But he's making coffee. But then again, that Daytona 500 did buy Trevor Bayne quite a few years before he finally got the boot.
It did get him a full-time ride.
It eventually got him a full-time ride, and he stuck around for a long time until Roush finally was like, "Okay, we can't do this anymore."
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a good argument. That might be a good off-season podcast.
There we go. Let's talk about the great news of the week. We got our race lengths for Pocono for next season.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That weekend.
Yeah, lots of racing. The Cup races are shorter, which we kind of expected, and I like it. I think they're good length.
325 on Saturday, 350 on Sunday. Perfect.
Yep. I'm curious to see how that works and see if we start looking at that for maybe a regular.
I think this is just the first domino in about four tracks a year. This is going to end up happening too. I think somewhere around there, 3 or 4. Michigan's going to be one of them.
Yep, I could see Michigan being a 300 miler on a doubleheader. That'd be nice.
Yep. California, maybe we could get another date that way.
That'd be cool.
Yep. I've got ideas. NASCAR, give me a call. I got ideas.
There you go. Not much else to talk about there. We've talked ad nauseum about the doubleheader at Pocono. So
they're gonna run 1,025 miles between everything that's gonna be there that weekend.
Yeah, if you want to see racing, go to Pocono, man. There's gonna be, if you want to see any series that exists, go there.
Yeah, real racing, not practice and qualifying. This is gonna be racing. There's gonna be a lot of it.
Yep. If there's a NASCAR series you want to see, that's where to go.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Let's see. Last thing. Honda says it's interested in NASCAR, sort of, kind of. Basically,
they've been interested in NASCAR, for God's sakes. Get over here. Come on.
Right.
Come on in.
So there's talk in this article about the fact that, it has to make sense for them that they're right now, 38 races in the Cup Series is a pretty big step to take for a team that supplies all the IndyCar motors. And, they're dealing with smaller series right now that don't have the number of races or the scale that NASCAR would have. And basically has to make financial sense for them, but they're interested in it. They're keeping an eye on it. And with these rule changes, they're more interested than before. So I think we see them eventually, but it's probably going to be a little bit yet.
Yeah, I'd say within a decade.
Yeah, I think so.
10 years, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've talked about getting manufacturers on this podcast a couple of times, and we need somebody to come in, but we need them to come in like Toyota did and shake things up a little bit. Be ready to come in and win races right off the bat.
Come in with some cash.
Yep, you got to have some cash, and if Honda doesn't have quite the cash, then I still think somebody like Volkswagen or something would be maybe even a better fit. But Honda's already in the racing game, so I guess it does make a fit for them too,
right,
to expand their brand a little bit.
Yep. Any other news, James? Did I miss anything?
I think we're good, man. We can do a quick check of the old tweeter machine, but I think we had a lot of news this week. We haven't had much news lately.
Yeah, it was a little busier week than it's been lately.
I know. I was putting stuff together for the notes, and I forgot my favorite thing was the whole Gilliland thing. You had to go in there and grab that one.
Of course.
But yeah, I think we're good with news. I don't see anything popping up on the feed, so yeah.
All right. This weekend we go to Texas Motor Speedway. It is the AAA Texas 500. James gets the first pick this week. Who are you going with, James?
I'm going to go with Kevin Harvick.
Nice. Not bad. Not a bad pick.
Yep. I'm looking at last 3 races. I like doing that from time to time every week. He's got 3 top 10s and a win and an average finish of 3.7. So I like Kevin Harvick.
Not bad. I'm going to go with my sentimental favorite and would love to see it happen because I like to see him in the Final Four. And I'm going to go Chase Elliott.
Nice. And be a shocker.
Yep.
He'd shake some stuff up.
I think he'll be a better pick the following weekend, and I'll just hint that I'll have first pick for ISM. I'm going to pick him again. So
yeah, that will put Kyle Busch on the bubble if he wins. If things stand pat, which is interesting. Knocks everybody down 1.
Right.
I like that.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to change this. I was going to go Matt DiBenedetto, but I'm going to go with William Byron once again as my dark horse pick.
Sneaky son of a gun. I'll take Ricky Stenhouse.
Okay, that's a good one.
I think Ricky Stenhouse. He's got a couple races left in the old Roush Fenway Ford.
Want to talk about Fantasy League? I didn't pick my drivers this week, and I still finished second to last.
You beat me. Yeah, you beat me.
I did. I finished third from last because there was.
Yeah, you beat me this week. Yeah, I had a bad week. Ditka and Ranger Runyon continued to duke it out. Ditka got the win, and quick overall. Look at it. Justin 713. He is only 4 points ahead of Ranger Runyon for the championship. So we got ourselves a heck of a battle at the top. And then it splits from there. Freight Train, Hurricane Ditka, and then me and you. I almost got you by 200 points, so I think I'm pretty safe. I think I'm going to win the pool between us. So
I thought multiple times about picking my drivers and just forgot to do it. So.
Yeah, I know. I didn't switch my drivers. I should have. I had Boyer in the lineup. I needed to get him out of there. Screwed that part up. And then I checked our fantasy brackets. You're gonna love this. Everybody who's in our bracket pool, we're all idiots. Nobody picked Martin Truex Jr. to make it to Homestead.
What the heck were we thinking?
I looked at it and I went, "What a bunch of fools we are!" Everybody in this pool. How did we miss? How did nobody? How did he sneak past everybody?
None of us are qualified to be choosing a bracket for NASCAR.
No. If anybody's looked at this fantasy league, we're not qualified for any of this stuff.
All right. Shout outs. James, you got any shout outs this week?
Yeah, I got a quick one. This is good. You like this. So we're going to have really horrible weather for Halloween tomorrow.
Yep.
And shout out to all the parents who are going to go out there and fight. I told you, this is less of a shout out, more of a, I'm going to try to make Eric laugh. I told you I'd wait till we were on the podcast to tell you that I am dressing up as Olaf from Frozen to support my daughter's Frozen obsession.
There better be a photo.
She loves Frozen. I'll probably put it online. I don't mind being embarrassed when it comes to the kids. So she loves Frozen like we love our NASCAR. She is obsessed right now. So I am going to bite the bullet, and I have a full onesie dressed as Olaf. So I guess my shout out is for all the dads out there and moms who have to be embarrassed for Halloween, especially when it's going to be snowing and terrible in our neck of the woods.
If there is not a picture of that, you are fired from the podcast.
All right, follow me at James Cush on Instagram, probably.
There you go. Perfect. I'm just going to do my weekly shout out to the Dale Jr. Download. They had Ricky Rudd on this week, which was just spectacular.
Did he have his eyelids taped open?
But they did talk about it. I feel like I need mine taped open right now. But yeah, really, really cool podcast. So check that out. And then I've got a chance to listen to Door Bumper Clear this week for the first time in a while too. That was pretty good with old TJ on there and getting to comment on his driver's little fisticuffs or scuffle or whatever after the race.
That's good.
Good stuff.
I got a funny side note for you. So Ricky Rudd. So you know how I have this thing with Paul Menard?
Right.
When I was a kid, Ricky Rudd was my original Paul Menard. And it's all because my dad had a friend who used to give me a hard time about Ricky Rudd being better than Tony Stewart, and I used to get really mad.
That's funny.
So I feel like I turned out on the better end of that whole thing.
I always kind of liked Ricky Rudd. I never had any issue with Ricky.
I do. Looking back on it, it was really stupid, but I was a kid. I didn't know any better. Ricky Rudd had the best race cars, man. He drove the Tide Ride. He drove the Texaco Haviland 28 for a while, and he drove for the Wood Brothers.
I mean, 26 Quaker State car too.
Oh yeah, he did. He drove the Quaker State car. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He had some good wheels. Yeah, some really good wheels.
There's a couple good Dale Earnhardt stories on there, so check out Junior's podcast this week if you haven't. With that, James, where can they find you on social media during the week?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. If you want more of the podcast, you can find us at thesuperspeedway.com. We've got show notes on there with links to all the articles we discussed. Past coverage of races, everything you could dream of. Go check it out, thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on Apple Music, Google Play, and SoundCloud. If you want to become a patron and become a part of the show, visit us at patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. It is the AAA Texas 500, 500 miles from Texas Motor Speedway. Probably about 200 miles longer than it needs to be, but the track's been good lately, so we'll hope for a good race this weekend, and maybe we'll have a couple more boxing matches on pit road following the race. We'll be back next week to discuss who else locks themselves into the Final Four and to preview the ISM Raceway. We're getting down to it, James. We're almost done with the season.
This is it, man.
Absolutely crazy.
I know. Yep.
So we'll be back next week to talk about Texas. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.